uncovering the light. Guests with solid minds, no tales of the strange. In Sasquatch Secrets, they'll begin to rearrange. Truth's the vibe, we're on a quest. Look beyond the trees, what do you see? Factual stories redefining history. No myths, no magic, let's break the mold. With every word spoken, the wonders unfold. Footprints in the snow, not just a myth. Data and research, let's sift through the depth. Tales of a creature, but science leads the way. Nikki's quest for knowledge, come join and stay.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Colon, and hello, welcome. It's another Sunday. We almost didn't have a show today, guys. I thought it was Saturday all day long. And then I realized, I go, wait a minute. I didn't have Saturday off. I worked Saturday. Oh my God, it's Sunday. So in a mad rush, I'm like, come on, we gotta go get groceries so I can come back and try to get the show put together. And I was supposed to call my guest tonight, who is Brown Dwarf. We know him as Brown Dwarf, and he has his I've been noticing Bigfoot Dwarf on there now, so we'll have to hear about that when I bring him on. But that's Glenn Rojas. So we're gonna bring him on, and I'm gonna do that right now, and then we'll say hello to the chat together. So here we go. Hello, Glenn. How are you doing?
Good evening. Doing well here, Nikki. How about yourself?
Good, doing good. It's cold here in El Paso,
Yeah,
it's cold. I guess.
I would believe that because it's actually surprisingly a little bit chilly out here. It's getting chilly at night, and
Yeah.
but still warm during the days. It's we've been having these 70-degree days, and it's been kind of weird, the weather. And of course, I'm sure everyone's aware of the situation out here. I'm in Los Angeles right now, so yes, the
Right.
fire situation's been an issue out here, and I'm very close to one of them. That would be the Eaton Fire, which is up in the Angeles National Forest, the San
Uh-huh.
Gabriel Mountains, and in the foothills there of Altadena. And it's
Uh-huh.
just, yeah, real unfortunate that all that's happening.
Yes, it is. It's very sad, and all my prayers go out to all those who are affected by that. Um, there's always controversy with all these things, and it's sad, but we just need to, realize and pray that they get back up on their feet, that all the assistance they need, they're given that. And the same with the North Carolina folks with the floods.
Definitely.
I mean, one got hit with water and one got hit with fire, and both are equally important and scary. And prayers go out to both sides, and hence
Definitely.
the show Disaster Bigfoot. And
Yeah, I didn't. You just put me up to the title right now. I wasn't aware of it, but yeah, I'm like, hey, well, it's current events. So
Right.
yeah, why not have it
Talk about it.
put
Yep.
out there and see how it relates
Right.
to our worlds here.
Exactly. So before we do that, let's say hi to the folks in the chat. You know all these people out there, but we've got Grasshopper,
Hey,
Santa Ana winds, talking about those Santa Ana winds, and they happen every year. They happen. I don't know why it seemed like such a surprise. They're big, we lived in Buena Park for 3 years, almost 4 years. And but you get these winds, and they're kind of warm winds, actually. I experienced, but
And Buena Park,
they
is
happen
that's where Knott's Berry Farm is, right? Or
right down the street. As a matter of fact, we lived right there, right off the
trip,
91 and
trip out.
Beach.
And
I
really
think it was
cool.
Beach Boulevard.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're on Buena Park. Did you ever hear of the Buena Park Bigfoot report from? It's a throwback.
No.
And Eli from STM did a
Uh-huh.
thing on it on one of his documentaries, and yeah, they say that there was a report some kids had seen a Bigfoot along the wash there, and so
Wow.
yeah, the wash became a thing because they say that wash goes all the way up to a Big Bear Lake, and it could have been a means
Oh.
of travel for these beings. So there is, reports and sightings out here in Southern California for sure.
Yeah, yeah, everywhere. They're starting to pop up everywhere, even places that you're like, no way. There couldn't
Hmm.
there couldn't be one there in the
Yeah.
middle of the city. And but there's encounters, there's stories about that. But welcome, Wolf Hunter. I see Roger Blair and Sandra Piper always there. Octopus with no friends in the house. Henry May. Hey, Henry.
Hey,
Good to see
Hen-
you.
yeah,
Um,
Henry, I've gotten to hang out with up in Humboldt County, Eureka, California.
oh,
We had a
nice.
beer. Yeah, we had a beer at a bar with a bunch of other well-known Bigfooters, and that was actually
Yeah.
the 50th anniversary of the Patterson Gimlin film. So
Oh,
salute to
yeah.
Henry.
Yeah. He's a walking encyclopedia for sure when it comes to the
Oh yeah.
Bigfoot stuff and books and all of that. Uh, I I wish I could have that memory though. I can't. I have to write everything down these days. I'm losing it. But
I'm with you. You check into the lion's mane mushroom,
oh, I have. I actually was just looking at that coffee they sell. One of those coffee brand
the
mushrooms.
mud coffee. Maybe it's
Yeah, and
a
I was like,
blend of
do I
yeah. The
buy? No, I
mushrooms is
can't.
a
I gotta
thing right
finish
now.
fixing my car. I can't buy that right now. But it's on my list to do's to see
Yeah,
about that because it's supposed to
don't
help
forget that one.
it's supposed to help your circulatory system and nerve pain and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and they
I
say
try
memory
anything.
also. So they're using it with Alzheimer's patients, I've heard, and getting
Oh
some
wow.
interesting good results. And yeah, I think mushrooms are fascinating.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
I like to go.
natural thing.
Yeah, I like to go mushroom hunting when I'm out bigfooting too. Recently, I actually found earlier this year. We're up at the PG site. Maybe we'll get into this later, but found a bunch of chanterelle mushrooms, super
Uh-huh.
delicious, and they were legit because we survived. We're still alive.
Well, that's good because they have those fake one. What do they call them?
Yep, the
The
false
ones that mimic
ones. Yeah.
the poison and the real one look really
Oh
similar.
yeah, yeah. It can
And
be
yeah, that's
dangerous.
what would make me not pick and eat anything. but
Hmm.
but yeah, I hear people just rave about the chicken of the woods. Is that what it's
Chicken of
called?
the woods, the
Yeah, something like that.
morels. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, porcini.
I love
I love it.
mushrooms, so I'm willing to eat them if they're safe.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, good to see everybody. If I missed you, I love you guys. I would like to extend a thanks to all those people who reached out to me on Facebook for the passing of my mother-in-law. That
Oh
was a
wow.
couple of days ago.
Condolences.
Yeah, thank you. She was buried yesterday, and it's very sad, but we knew it wasn't a surprise, and she was very ill, and she's not suffering anymore. Um, so that's that. Okay. So thank you. I don't want to go into it because then I'll get all teary eyed. So we're gonna keep on going, but I appreciate you guys a lot, and we shall move on. And my husband's okay. I didn't get eyes on him, but we talked on the phone, and I don't know if you know, my husband's in Italy right now. So he had actually said his goodbyes before he left. So we knew it was coming, and but it's always hard, you know, to lose a loved
Oh
one
yeah.
and stuff. So anyway, okay, back to the show. Um, Disaster Bigfoot. What do they
Oof.
do? What do all animals do in light of horrendous natural disasters or maybe not natural disasters? You know, I think they're still doing the investigations there in SoCal for the fires, you know,
Hmm.
and I don't know. Do you think it was an arsonist who
It's
did those SoCal ones?
well, the question comes up because I personally have seen even earlier in the year. I got tons of footage of fires that have happened around here, and we're at our shop. My brother and I have a smoke shop, skate shop. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
reporting actually from my special office here, which is the restroom. I had my gear set up, but it didn't work out. So I went to plan
Oh,
B and we're on the phone here. But
oh, okay.
yeah, fires have been an issue out here. And I believe a lot of it's due to the homeless situation out here. So yeah, you have that, and then yeah, a bunch of other people with mental health. That's a big situation out here. The people with mental
Mm-hmm.
health issues, and yeah, I've gone even live several times with fires on hills near the house, and then structures around here, and then a lot of it, like I said, these camps are in like a back alleys and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that where the
Right.
river washes. Um, and so yeah, that's where I think a lot of that is stemming from. But yeah, these recent big ones, a lot of questions coming up, but I find it very fishy. It's been a dry year,
Yeah.
I've noticed that, and I'm always paying attention to the skies around here because there's been some weird stuff
Yeah.
floating around
Yeah.
the shop,
Yeah. I've been
and
seeing.
so I've been paying attention to that, and along with that, also a lot of military activity as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, keeping an eye on that as well. And then so watching the skies, I've been noticing a whole lot of the spraying,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure people know what I'm talking about there. And it's just been nonstop. And yeah, so I've taken a dive into that world, finding out more information about all that, and hooked up with some people that really are on that whole topic. And yeah, I feel more people should be aware of that, and it seems to be happening everywhere. It's a worldwide thing. And so the question comes
Yeah.
up: could that have something to do with the weather out here, and what happened? Who
Yeah,
knows?
everything was
But
lined up for a perfect disaster, and the conspiracy theories go far and wide, folks. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
to it being like what
oh
sovereign
wild
cosmic
man,
wild man says that
mhm.
you know directed energy weapons.
That's
And
been coming up a
they
whole
were
lot.
talking because I guess there was a house that did not burn and it was colored blue or something. And they
Hmm.
were saying because I don't know. There's all kinds of
Yeah,
conspiracies
there's
about that.
a
Right? I
lot of
mean, I've heard
anomalies.
about that. Even in Hawaii, I heard about the blue houses didn't burn. So this wasn't
Right.
something new that, I
Yeah.
heard about that before. And then the whole controversy with possibly land developers had started the fires, because they wanted that prime real estate there in Palisades, Pacific
Yeah,
Palisades
and
area.
yeah, it's
So,
interesting. The areas that was affected. Yeah, it's you got to question those areas. Obviously, there are areas with a lot of money, it's special people in those areas. You got actors and well-to-do people, and but then over in the uh, the Altadena area, you have a mixed community there. A lot of old money too. A lot of nice
mhm,
areas, and even a mixture of cultures there. There's I say melanated community, black community.
mhm,
For others that don't understand, but and very very yeah, well respected, well off people up in that area. So, you know, questions, those types of questions do come up, and you hear the stuff obviously on social media, what's going around, and you got to always question that stuff as well. But yeah, a lot of anomalies, like you mentioned, the blue house. There was another one where this surfer in the Palisades had a blue old Volkswagen, which I love those things. It was one of my first
Yeah.
car, is my first car actually. Had it for years, so I have a thing for Volkswagen buses. And hers was, I forget, it was a 70 something, but it was a blue one. And yeah, it made the news and everything. And I even remixed the news reel there, and just because I love those cars. But yeah, it was like, look, this blue vehicle. But then there was another vehicle across the street from it, which was silver, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, looked like a Jeep. So I don't know if that was there after, or who knows. You gotta really dissect that. But there were some blue trash cans, because out here we have these recycling trash
That
cans, and they're painted.
that's what
They're
Jen
blue.
just said too. She just
Oh,
posted
okay.
that blue plastic
Yeah, and
barrels didn't even burn. So weird, right? Why?
yeah, and I
Why?
noticed
Why
that
is that? I don't
in the
know.
Volkswagen picture. So, something to really analyze
Right.
and think
It's
about.
fishy. It is. It is definitely fishy. Um, so yeah. So we're gonna get into those questions about the animals and what they do. We know we flee. We can't handle it unless we have the tools. And when you don't have the tools, everything burns down. Or you get washed away depending on the circumstance. So before we move on again, though, so we've all known you as the Brown Dwarf, and why the change
Yeah, so
to
we switched
Bigfoot
it
Dwarf?
up. 2025, a lot of changes happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, Brown Dwarf. I started just because I had a friend that just that came up. He was like calling me that, and when I got into YouTube, had nothing to do with Bigfoot or anything. But
yeah,
I always refer to it like people think, oh yeah, the small entity, the small being, the duende.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, so you can look at it like that, but there's also the celestial object, a brown dwarf, so it could go either
Yes, you're
way. And so I
right.
was like, yeah, I'll stick with that. And so I had that for as long as I could think of, but
Right.
then I switched it up because yeah, just to maybe intrigue people more that yeah, that I'm into Bigfoot, and my channel is
You have to
based
put the
on that.
Bigfoot in there. I'm telling you, people. Remember, I was Hairy Man Hoaxes and Hoodwinks for a long time when I first started my channel, but people don't want to look up hairy men.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, right. Yeah,
I
that
was
could go.
having issues trying to get to that 1,000 mark. And the minute I changed it to Sasquatch Secrets, I got more, viewership
Traffic.
and people were coming around more.
Right
Um,
on. And which
I
is
mean,
a
not
good
like
thing.
you have like 10,000 subscribers or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I could explain that. I had remixed back. What's is TikTok's back on or what? I heard.
Yeah,
So you heard it got banned for a bit. It seemed like, or
yeah, for like
they
12 hours or something, and then it
right.
popped back up.
Yeah, people are freaking out, and I'm thinking, oh, are they doing something? They're just like they're messing with people's emotions a little more.
Yeah,
Uh And so yeah, it got blocked for a bit, and then it came back on. But anyway, back when I don't know if you remember the giant situation. What was his name? Andrew Lawson or Dawson, I believe it was, up in Canada, who had supposedly seen a giant and recorded it. And
mm,
so it was a big thing, the giant thing. And so I had remixed some guys' breakdown of it. And so I had shared that over on my YouTube, and that took off. That just for some reason hit it,
just
and it was
hit.
just like, brrrr, and
Yeah,
that's what happened there. But as far as like having those people still, I don't see it. My views are very small views, and yeah, some
yeah,
videos here and there will hit and stuff,
yeah.
and I do realize there's a formula to this stuff as well, and
There
and
is.
yeah,
There
I'm
totally is. You
Yeah, and
know,
I'm
you
starting to
mentioned
tap into it.
Patterson Gimlin in your title,
Oh,
you'll get massive views. You mention certain things and you'll get the views, but I get the
keywords.
views from the people I want to get views from, and
There you go.
it's steady, and that was my main goal, you know, just to hit
Yeah.
that 1,000, so I knew I could keep doing this. And there's yeah, you have to have like thousands of views just to get, you know, decently paid. I get a little bit from people who contribute to me and help me out that way.
Right
But
on.
now, you know, I feel like I could just keep on going. And there are days where it's rough, you know, trying to come up with another take on Bigfoot, you know, because we recycle a lot of stuff. But there's
Well,
always a
you
different way to talk about it and different people to talk to, because the one thing you all know, I don't do encounter stuff on my channel, you know, because there's what, a gazillion encounter channels
oh,
right now.
pick your
So
flavor.
yeah, I really want to stay with the different production type thing here, where we talk about, you
Well, I
know,
want to
the
say,
other stuff.
yeah, no, I want to say salute to you, Nikki. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You, to me, you stand out from everyone else, you know, a whole lot of people. And the way your community does stuff, you know, I respect it. You guys are hardcore, and you guys, you know, press issues that should be. You know, I mentioned that the other night. I've been starting to do lives now, and I'm going on
Yeah.
late night just to kind of warm my feet up and test the
Yeah,
waters.
I've been
And
noticing that, but you are later at night. I see them in the morning, you know, but
yeah.
my job, I'm like have to be up super duper early, so I conk out early now. I'm like
Yeah,
a
and I don't
grandma.
expect.
I'm in bed early.
Yeah, I don't expect people, you know, that's why I'm doing it late at night, because like I said, just testing the waters, getting familiar,
Yeah.
getting more comfortable. And I want to eventually do what you do. I love you know, the intro, the
Yeah.
overlays. I'm learning all this little stuff
Yeah.
now, and yeah, just little by little getting it together, and we'll be rocking and rolling hopefully
Cool.
soon
Yeah,
here.
that'll be
But
great. Yeah,
yeah,
he's always on UFO watch and stuff like that, looking at things in
everything
the sky
crime
and
watch.
yeah, doing all of that. But you have been going out with those boys up in North Cal, you know, looking
Yeah.
for the big guy up there, and you've been with Tate Hieronymus and Jonathan Easley
Hmm.
and Ron. I don't remember Ron's last name.
Ron, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. I'm downloading the
Yeah,
file.
it's just yeah. Anyway,
Ron Reed,
Ron Reed.
Reed.
Okay.
Yes.
Who else? Who else has been up there with you guys up there near Bluff Creek, right? You were
Yeah.
generally up near the Bluff Creek area,
Yeah, the
Laird
boys
Meadow
like
and
going
all
to
that.
Bluff. Yeah, they love going to Bluff Creek. They're really, you know, there's some ties there with the Bluff Creek project. I mean, I'm not tied or anything, but you know, Tate, and yeah, a lot of those guys I've known because I actually lived in the area. I was in living in Humboldt County for quite over 10 years, and in several different areas, southern Humboldt, and all the way up to the town of Trinidad, the coastal town of Trinidad. I've lived in
Uh-huh.
the Willow Creek area, and these are all like it's all Bigfoot country up there, and that's what really
Yeah.
got me into the whole thing. I remember seeing the Patterson film as a youth and stuff, and being fascinated. And but I never knew that that happened where it happened. And when I moved to Humboldt, you know, the Bigfoot topic comes up, and eventually one day we were in the hills of Honeydew, California, southern Humboldt, and we were, I forget who it was, but they were like, "Hey, you know that Patterson footage was shot up here in Humboldt County," and I was like, "What? No way!" I was blown away. And but technically now I know that there's several counties that actually are in that area. So I
Uh,
think technically the Patterson site is Del Norte County,
oh.
which is the county above Humboldt and
Uh-huh.
Pelican Bay.
Uh,
Yikes. And But anyway, the Humboldt gets the credit for it, and So anyway, I made my way up there. Eventually, I got invited. I was like, man, I want to make my way up there. I was already kind of doing my own thing, getting into the subject online, learning stuff
Yeah.
from locals, and so I started on our own property, and the property I was staying on, actually, it wasn't ours at the time. Uh, and I started there. There's a lot of acreage to go explore, and and I'm a structure guy. I'll say it. A lot of people aren't into it, but I find that there is something there, and it's led me to some interesting things. And so I started, yeah, looking for any stick formations or anything out of place, and eventually also made my way down the hill where a lot of these state parks are, the Humboldt Redwoods,
Yeah.
Avenue of the Giants. And these are Avenue of the Giants, for example, is a place, there's all these redwood groves, and it goes along Highway 101. And there's actual reports from Avenue of the Giants. There's also this pamphlet, and this could be maybe more of a tourist attraction. It's for tourists, and it tells you spots to check out. And one of them is this particular redwood grove where there was a report of a Bigfoot being cited. So kind of fun stuff. But I wonder if they put that on there. There's got to be maybe something to it.
Yeah.
And there has been current stuff and stuff in the past, and that was very near home. And these areas lead up into these hills that we're at, and yeah, certain things started happening eventually throughout the years that I would start to document, and just start to get really familiar with what people were doing.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably not the greatest thing, because everyone, maybe most of us don't know what the heck we're doing, but
We're
we're trying.
citizen scientists here,
Right,
weekend
right. And I think
warriors.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's super fun. Yeah, I'm like always, kind of low budget, bedroom productions, I call it, because I used to produce music in my bedroom, and like now I'm in this restroom office, and of course we're getting our lovely ice cream man coming by here, so that kind of always bombs the show. So a little heads up, if you hear the ice cream man, he's passing by. Um, and so yeah, Humboldt is just really rich with Bigfoot history, Bigfoot culture, and little by little, I started hearing stuff from locals and started getting guided to certain people. And one of those people being James Bobo Fay. So Bobo, yeah, lives in the area, and they're like, yeah, you got to meet Bobo. And eventually, it happened. I forget how it went down, and I'll tell you now, trying to get a hold of Bobo is like trying to find Bigfoot. It's funny, but yeah, I found him, and he was super cool. We got to know each other, and got to go out several times. And then within all that, I also got invited to the PG site where Bluff Creek Project would. They were doing their thing up there. They've been investigating, the site, trying to pinpoint the site, and then there's just so many other areas that I'm slowly learning about now in that area. A lot of us focus on the site and the camps around the site, but there's so much more in that area. And yeah, there's been some current stuff as well. We'll tap on that in a little bit, but yeah, all through the county of Humboldt. If you look at the BFRO, and I feel they need to update that site a bit. But in California, Humboldt County has the biggest amount, or the largest number of reports, and so that is telling, to me. And you could only imagine the amount of reports that aren't being submitted, if they're
Uh-huh.
getting that many. And a lot of those reports tend to concentrate around the Hoopa Reservation. So I don't know if you're
Ah.
familiar with Hoopa. And so
Yeah, I've
Hoopa
heard
is
of it.
right, yeah, Hoopa is right above Willow Creek, and Willow Creek's inland from the coast a bit, and Highway 299. And Highway 299 will take you from just about the coast all the way passing Mount Shasta. So
Uh-huh.
if you head east inland, you eventually hit Shasta. But Willow Creek, above Willow Creek, is the Hoopa Reservation, and there's several other native tribes there as well. Um, and then a little above Hoopa, I mean, it's not far, but it's far enough still. It's quite a drive from Willow Creek and the Hoopa area into Bluff Creek. You're still looking at over an hour or so, and especially some of these roads up there, they're dirt roads and stuff, so you got to take your time. And it's out there, it's out there. It is accessible, but once you're out there, that you better have all your supplies or whatever you need, your gas and good tires, because
Everything, huh?
yeah. And yeah, so I got to know a lot of the guys at the Bluff Creek Project, became good
Yeah.
friends with a lot of them. Even Steve Strufer, who used to have Bigfoot books there. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of people in the community, there's a lot of folks up there that I still know, keep in touch with. And in Willow Creek, you also have the Bigfoot Museum, the China Flat Willow Creek Museum, which has a little Bigfoot section there, and you can
Mm-hmm.
still find, I believe, some of the original patty tracks there. Also, a lot of replicas from different places, and
Yeah.
just something super cool for the community there, and just the Bigfoot community as well, right?
Right.
But
How
yeah, so
long does it
salute to.
take you to get there from where you're at?
So from LA, you're looking at 11, 12 hours drive straight up. Yeah, and take the five. Yeah, it's
It
that
takes that
far.
long?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
that far
God.
away. It's like driving to another state or across a few states. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I used to do it in the Volkswagen. When I used to do it in the Volkswagen back in the day to go just party and hang out with people up there, it was like you're looking at 16 hours, and that little
Yeah.
thing just putting along. Um, but yeah, Bluff Creek still, an iconic place. It recently almost caught fire. That's also a big issue up there is the fire situations. They get
Mm-hmm.
really scary. I've gotten into some really close calls. The Red Salmon Complex fire, which was up at Willow Creek area. And Willow Creek a couple years back also almost burned. I remember we were leaving Bluff Creek, and a few days later we got word that the town of Willow Creek almost caught fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, this last fire got down almost to the Patterson site, and from what I hear, forestry helped to preserve it. So that was super cool that they
Oh,
did that. Yeah, and
wow.
Alex Pedikov, some of his
Yeah.
latest documentaries from those trips. July, we went in July, and I also went back in October with Tate. Tate didn't
Uh-huh.
make the July trip. Yeah, Alex was able to document a lot of the burnt areas, and he featured it in the what is it, Strange Places series on Small Town
Uh-huh.
Monsters,
Yeah.
the Lost Bigfoot Highway, which is an interesting thing we did aside from the Bluff Creek stuff. We did an overnight hike into a real interesting area that a lot of people don't see, and that has a lot of history, and more than Bigfoot. There's a lot of interesting legends from that area from different natives, and yeah, so we did that overnight. Didn't have much happen. We had these weird, I called them the phantom food smells. We started smelling like food, and there wasn't anyone around.
What?
And yeah, we had no idea
Wow.
where it could have came from. We had Rowdy Kelly with us, to Rowdy, from Bluff Creek Project, and he was kind of baffled. We were all baffled, and these guys are, pretty level-headed dudes, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty strange. So that was about as weird as it got there, but no Bigfoot activity in that particular
You
area.
guys were just hungry.
Oh yeah, no, we were hungry and tired. With that hike
Yeah.
was it kicked our butts, and but we pushed Alex, Jonathan, and Rowdy and his little dog, and I. Some of the other guys stayed at camp. Kip Morrell and Ian. They set up base camp, and we kept pushing because we wanted to get to the end of this road that was basically, it's this road up there that would have connected Gasky to Orleans, the two towns, I believe, and it would have been a straight shot for lumber companies, these
Oh.
Oregon lumber companies that I believe had their eyes on it to come and log the area. And so yeah, you could check that doc out if you haven't, and it's a good one. Very interesting. Gets into the history there, and they also interviewed a local who I didn't get to meet this time. I got to see him, but I really want to talk to him next time. He lives at the base of the hills there, and not many people. I mean, he's maybe one of the very few people in that area at the base to get up to the Bluff Creek area. And he shared a lot of stuff that was fascinating. And I believe his wife's had a sighting, and some of his neighbors have had sightings and stuff. So there is stuff going on up there still to this day. And I recently just got some information that I unfortunately I can't share, but you're going to be hopefully hearing some news from I'll just say that zone up there. So we'll aim wide. But there's stuff
Ooh.
happening up there, and a lot of people felt
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that area has been burnt out, squashed out, like they say, and not much going on. But I think I'd like to differ on that. There's still stuff happening, and yeah, it's a lot going
Good.
on there for sure. But yeah, even in different spots throughout not only
Yeah.
that area, there's stuff happening along the coast, and in different parts. If you do some digging around, you can find, and I've heard from different sources that I have up there as well. So yeah, there's still things happening in that area for sure.
Well, that's interesting. I have been invited by Tate to go up there this
Right
July.
on.
So I'm going to really try to make that happen. I
I
told
hope
him, I don't know
so.
if I can do those big long treks you guys are going to do, but I want to go to Laird. I want to go see the site, the PG site. And
Yeah,
go out there and I'll babysit camp. I don't care. I will cook for you
yeah.
guys. And
Come on,
I just want to
come
be
on.
out there with you guys. So
Yeah, come on,
I'm going to
squatching with
really
this.
try to make that happen.
Yeah, the only thing, the PG site, I will say it is it's quite a bit of a hike down, and then the hike up
Yeah.
is a butt kicker. But if you just take your time, you walk a little
Yeah.
bit, you chill out.
Yeah.
I've seen many guys do that. There was two guys, a father
Yeah.
and son, that had popped up from like the East Coast. I forget what state, and we guided them down to the site. They came back. They were grinded. Oh man, it was they didn't expect it,
Yeah.
but they got down there. I'm sure it's worth it now. They could talk about it. But yeah, come on through, Nikki. It's really something you got to experience, especially if you're into this topic. And for
Yeah,
me,
for
it's just
sure.
a
I
mind
mean, that's
a
one of the
mind.
most that's the top of the list, right? Because that's the foremost video that we hold gold standard at this
Yep.
point. So
And I believe it,
I
and I
can't.
and I love that you all question it. I'm getting a text message from Alex here, Petticoat, about
Oh,
catch up with him. I had sent him a message earlier. He had a premiere earlier and kind of got into some UFO stuff while he was out
oh,
Bigfooting. So these things happen. These other things happen when you're out, looking for these things. Other stuff happens, and
yeah.
are they related? I don't know. But the more we get into this stuff, it seems there's like more correlation. And I know it's hard to swallow for some of us, but we got to keep our
I
minds
know. I
open,
have to
and
see it for myself. I have
for
to see it
sure.
for myself. I'm sure, just like Brent says, well, that would explain this, if it'll explain that. But we have to see it for ourselves. And just a quick thanks to Jay. Thank you, man. He gifted 10 Sasquatch Secrets memberships.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Right on, Senor Fritz.
I appreciate you very much. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. I really would like to meet all the guys. I've talked to many before, but to really, um sit down, and sit around that campfire and shoot the shit about Bigfoot. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's the most fun. And you got to have fun, folks. I may be a skeptic of the evidence, but I love to talk squatch. So
Yeah,
that's
we
the
definitely
big
do all
thing.
that, and more. Um, I wanted to mention something also. Oh yeah, yeah, Nikki. Let's manifest that. Let's put it out there. It's out there
Yeah,
already. Let's
put it
make it
out there.
happen.
I'm going. I bought a new tent yesterday.
Yeah.
Just to manifest that, because I have a huge tent that I usually have, but I need something I can put and take down myself without help.
Yeah, no,
And
we'll help you. We actually, I think it was Jonathan brought a tent mansion this time. So,
oh, did he?
yeah, a little inside secret. Jonathan Easley, Alex Pedikov, and I shared a tent together.
Hey, that's two less tents you have to put up and take down.
Yep.
You're just sleeping in them for a few hours, because if you're walking all night, checking out night hikes and stuff, you get
Yeah.
back and you just want to crash. Um,
And
but
I did
yeah,
also want to mention, yeah, there's a lot of spots you could drive to also, Nikki, up there. So you
that's
don't
what
have to
Tate was
do,
telling me.
yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have to do the grueling hikes. I mean, hey, if you want to get some
Uh-huh.
exercise, which I recommend, and there's an amazing swimming hole there also. So bring your bikini. Although, up there, most people, it's all it's clothing optional, and we usually don't wear clothes up in Humboldt.
Yeah, that's
So
what Tate was
in
saying.
situations
That he
like
took a
that,
dip.
but
I go, ooh. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'm not big on dipping into the microorganisms.
no, it's, believe me, it's crystal clear water, and it's like being baptized. So definitely do it. It's a
Whoa.
must. Yeah, it's a must, and you
Yeah.
could have your total privacy to where maybe just the Bigfoots are gonna be the ones lurking and watching from the ridge up there.
That's funny. Whoops. I missed it. He's a speedo kind of guy.
Ike knows
Um
that.
oh, here's Alex. Alex is in the house now. Yeah, we had the best tent set up in all Laos camp.
Yes, and I cooked breakfast for the guys. And
Nice,
no
nice.
no funny business there. It's all good.
Yeah.
Solid men there.
Well, Brent can attest to some of the stuff I've cooked for them out there, both in British Columbia and then when we were at Mount St. Helens. Um, I love to camp cook. I love it. I
I
love
love
it.
it too. It's something about
So,
food, like food out there just tastes different. I don't know if it's because the body just needs it, and then you have maybe one of your favorite, whatever it may be, and it's like, oh man, you're having this out here. And yeah, I've had many. I call them 5-star meals on the hill. And salute to Alex, man. Awesome premiere earlier, bro. Hope to see you soon.
good to see you, Alex, in the house. Definitely check out his channel over there. But let's get into the meats of this topic that I had brought up about disasters. So we have natural disasters. They happen all the time. But what happens to the animals? What do we know about the animals that are known and how they respond to natural disasters? Because we can kind of, assume that Bigfoot is going to react like this. They're going to move. They're going to be on the move. But there's things that go along with that, and that's what I kind of wanted to talk about is their evacuation plan. Do they sense this thing? Do they have the ability to sense impending danger? Stuff like that.
Yeah, and I off the top, I would think so. And especially if like people say that their senses are like top notch, you would think they'd be able to sense something like that. And
Right.
for the interdimensional folks, the Mount St. Helens situation comes up. There's that whole
That is one
situation
of
that
the yeah,
Bigfoots were burnt and were being medevaced out, and so I think to myself, if
helicoptered
these,
out and all this stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
if these beings were interdimensional, that they'd be able to dip out of that situation, and then again, if going to the senses, if not interdimensional, but highly, you know, highly aware, that they'd be able to sense, I don't know, rumbles or just something going on that, hey, it's time
Right.
to dip out of here. And so that comes to mind. And then as far as like the animals, it's interesting. We were touching on the Bluff Creek area, the burnt areas there. uh, this time around, I've seen the most amount of wildlife I've ever seen anytime that I've been up there. I've seen a bunch of deer, little fawns. There were what is it, we call them civet cats. They're these
Uh-huh.
weird little,
Yeah.
yeah, running across the road. Got footage of them. There was all types of stuff. I heard owls. And yeah, so it was definitely live up there with the wildlife, and after these fires, so that was good to
Hmm.
see. And then as far as out here in SoCal, there's been a ton of sad footage of mountain lions with the cubs and the deer, the baby deer running on, just running for life. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that gives me an idea of what happens. There's actually a channel also on YouTube, because there's this area that I've been going up to up here in the Angeles Forest. He goes by Parliament and Owls, and he has game cams set up in these mountains, and he gets tons of wildlife footage. You'd be blown away how many mountain lions and bears he gets on footage. You wouldn't think that they'd be so common, but he gets them all the time. And he actually had posted bear footage of this particular bear. I forget his name. It was like Winston or something, and he had burns from a previous
Oh,
fire. I think, I don't know if it was the Bobcat fire that had happened up there.
yeah.
And yeah, another thing, there was a previous fire that had really blocked out a lot of these areas up here for several years, and they just had recently opened it. So I also
Hmm.
wonder if that would attract some of these beings, like the Bigfoots, into
Yeah.
areas, knowing that there's no people around, and being like that for several years. I would imagine maybe that would make them feel a little comfortable and maybe stick
Right.
around. But
Well,
yeah, so I think.
we have knowledge that birds leave before hurricanes. Deer are seen gathering and fleeing. Wildflowers, rodents tend to burrow deeper during earthquakes. So we have this knowledge, that animals prepare because they have that sixth sense that something's going to happen. So that is what I wanted to see. What do you think? They have this, ability to sense something's wrong, something's not right. People say that they're very grounded type of creatures, so they would be more in tune with, what's going on around them in their surroundings.
Yeah, I,
Um
I think that'd be a given in my head.
yeah.
Although, trying to prove it, good luck. But yeah, no, I think these beings have amazing senses. I think they could see at night. Um, they obviously could withstand a cold, really cold weather. And I find that fascinating, because I think about it when I'm out in the field, and it's a cold night, and I think I could only imagine what it was like, what it'd be like, just to have maybe some hair, even like, yeah, if you were to have a lot of hair around your body, thinking like a patty or something, I would imagine it'd still get a little cold, uh once
Yeah.
that winter hits, or the colder
Yeah.
temperatures start to set in. But yeah, I think there's something to them that helps them withstand those temperatures. And then
Right.
maybe even with heat, so maybe there's
Yeah, we had that
something.
conversation on a couple of weeks. Was it last week's? When did I do the winter squatch? Well, we talked
Mm,
about how do they survive the winter? Do they have special skin? Are they thicker? Or, do they go to lower elevations? Do they just leave the areas? What do they do? So you guys will have to go back to watch that show. That was the winter squatch. Um, but for these disasters, everything changes for them because even their eating habits will change. They're going to be out of their normal situation and get thrown in a completely different area possibly. And, I'm sure they end up becoming opportunistic type of feeders, just they can get whatever they can get, because that's a lot of calories. If these creatures are that big, that's a lot of calories they have to intake. How are they going to get that?
Yeah,
Why are we not
water.
seeing them, fleeing? Those are a lot of questions I have. And you do see evidence in the smoldered mess of a fire, of dead animals. But, you know, I don't know of anybody who has come across, other than the Mount St. Helens um, thing that happened with them saying they were carrying out Bigfoots. I haven't really heard of any situation where fire crews or the hot shots came across a Bigfoot. Is
Yeah,
there some out there? I don't know. Maybe somebody in
there
the
there's
chat knows of a story.
there's one I can remember, and it was actually out of Northern California, or it might have been even Southern Oregon. But at the time, I was living up there, and but I think it was a hoax. But yeah, there was fires in the area, and supposedly one of the fire fighters had posted a picture of what looked like a Bigfoot. But I think it was came up to be a hoax. But yeah, no, I wonder if and I have asked some forestry guys before that work fire and stuff like that, have
Uh-huh.
worked fires, if they'd notice anything. But I would imagine maybe that would be a good person to ask, someone that actually fights fires and stuff in areas that are known to be hot spots, to see if they've noticed or seen anything.
Mhm. Octopus says, I mean, people do see them fleeing. It's just that most sightings aren't reported, and most that are reported are ignored anyway. Possibility, yep. Or they're put down on the lower end because of proof. People want the proof. And
They want the
it's
pudding.
different for everybody. Somebody who has seen Bigfoot, they don't need any proof. They've already got that. They're solid in their idea of the existence, right? But a lot of us are steadfast that, well, we need to see it with our own eyes. And I do believe Bigfoot exists. I just don't really care for all the evidence people are putting out there, because anybody can do that. Anybody can say anything about their experiences while they're out in the woods, you know, me included, with the chawing at my tent. What the heck was that? I don't know, but that was not normal. I don't feel it was normal. But at the same time, I don't have the evidence for that. I don't have an audio of that. I have several audios after that. But anyway,
Yeah, I feel a lot of it becomes a personal journey. It's a personal thing, because there's things that'll
yeah.
happen to you, and maybe you do capture it with some sort of device, whether it be audio or some sort of visual something, um, and so you have those receipts to bring back for the others. But
Hmm.
a lot of stuff happens that you don't capture, and so it's like what do you do with that? It becomes a story for people. But no, I think those are some sort of like credits for you to keep note of, and eventually the more you do this, you start to like build something. You have something where maybe you go to a certain place, and you have a record of things that have happened to you there, you know um or maybe you're finding things in that area. Yeah, no, I think a lot of it does become personal. There's a lot of weird stuff that's happened to me, even stuff, I've had weird dreams with Bigfoots in them, and I've had some that were, I don't think they were a dream, and this happened up in the Bluff Creek area too. Very, very bizarre uh
Uh-huh.
situation. There is weird. But yeah, I think a lot more happens with this topic, and you gotta just be aware of it. Just yeah, be on your senses, because things could happen sometimes. Maybe even a little sound, or some sort of, like you mentioned, that cha, or I've heard that you've heard the tree fall. You guys had that tree falling incident, right?
Yeah.
And just things like that, and that could help you determine whether, yeah, you're might have some of these beings around, or maybe it's something else that's happening. But yeah, and also going back to the beings moving during situation, I think they not to say migrate, but I believe they move around. Obviously they got to move around,
They've
because
got to.
if
Yeah.
yeah, if they were to be in one spot all the time, then you know we'd zero in on that, I think. But and then in certain areas, the activity seems to come in waves too. Sometimes it's years where you'll have a bunch of activity, and it's hot, and then it'll die down for several years, and it's like, what happened, so I
Yeah.
do believe they move around for sure. So, but yeah, they got to have a heads up, smelling fire, even
Right. Are their
natural.
senses more keen to smell? That
They
is
got to
something
be.
that's very possible.
Y-
That uh, they are more attuned to that, just like any other creature that lives out there, because they do say, even if a human being goes out into the woods and lives there for extended periods of time, they also become more spatially aware of their surroundings, the sounds and the smells and stuff that are happening. Once you take yourself out of like the city environment, the
yeah. and
populate
and
human population, and
and do you start
uh,
becoming more Bigfoot like, Nikki?
you become more Bigfooty. You definitely get more hairy.
Yeah, and
um
that's been a thought before for me, is like, um, what could these things be? Are they, maybe a normal human that just goes out and becomes like feral, and I
yeah,
don't know,
there's
maybe these
those
features,
possibilities too.
yeah, these features just tend to develop the more time you spend out there.
Right.
I don't know, but that's come across my mind for sure.
um
Also, the North. So we mentioned North Carolina, right? That's where
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah, they had several reports earlier these last couple years. Some that hit the news. I believe, what was it? And I think I want to say it was near the coast. I forget the name of the state park. It was at a state park, and so that made the news. I remember checking that out, and I want to say there might have been one other report out of the Carolinas, or maybe a little more, but there was
Hmm.
some activity that I was hearing of coming out that way. So yeah, it makes you think what with their situation there. Um, and yeah, I would imagine weather is also something you could sense. Maybe they could sense like the
Hmm.
pressure of weather to come,
Oh,
and so maybe
yeah.
that
You have the barometer,
the
you've got
parametric, is it?
electromagnetic fields that could come
Mm-hmm.
into play, seismic activity. You know, I know for a fact that I am one of those people that can tell when an earthquake is coming. Did you know that?
No,
When
I
I
didn't know that
lived
about.
I lived there in LA, when I lived there in Buena Park, I could tell when an earthquake was going to happen. And you can ask my husband this, because I would say, I am feeling sick to my stomach right now. And
Yep.
he goes, what? I go, I just don't feel right. I go, my head, I feel kind of dizzy. And I would go about my day. And a couple hours later, we would have an earthquake. And it
Yep.
happened multiple times, because there was earthquakes over there all the time. But one of
Hmm.
the big ones, I remember getting the sickest, and it actually brought down our whole cabinets in our apartment.
Yeah. What was it?
Um,
Northridge.
it was this would
Northridge
have
Earth.
been in 2001,
Okay.
2002. Wait, was the
Yeah, I
baby
think
born? The baby wasn't born
Northridge.
yet. So
Northridge was in the '90s, I believe, late
early
'90s.
2000. It would have been in early 2000.
Yeah.
And yeah, It
And
was
you know
like
what?
a 5.2, something like that. And
Okay.
I was, yeah. And it happened and it would keep happening. I would tell him, I go, I'm getting that feeling. I'm getting that sick feeling. And he goes, are we going to have an earthquake? I go, yeah, I think so. And we would forget about it. And sure enough, at 3 a.m, we would get the,
Yep. Yep. So it's
and
like the like the
yeah,
body senses something, and that's the
yeah,
thing out here. Is like, yeah, don't we say, don't even mention it, especially right now with what's going on. It's like, don't even, and that comes to mind, but I don't even want to say it because that's the last thing we would need is something to shake us up to
uh-huh,
after all that. And Humboldt County just recently had a 7 point something earthquake just a couple months
right,
ago, I think it was. Yeah,
uh-huh,
so they get the shakers up there. There's the three plates. They call it the trifecta. So right off the coast there's three huge plates, and so
mm-hmm,
things shake up there. You got the tsunami warning, and yeah, scary
right.
stuff. Yeah, I checked in with my son who's still up there, and yeah, checked in with all my peeps up there
Didn't
because
even Seattle area get a tsunami warning too?
probably,
Even up that way up
yeah.
there
Yeah, and they
somewhere.
had gotten another shaker earlier. I think it was last year also, or the year before. But that one, we got tsunami warnings all the way down here to LA, from that earthquake. But yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a thing there. So that's yeah, Crescent City, California had a mega tsunami hit that area way back in the early 1900s, I believe, and due to a huge earthquake. And Crescent City is also another Bigfoot hotspot there. And so that makes me wonder what the psychology of these beings would be if they could sense something like that, which I believe they could. Yeah, do they head for the hills, knowing that maybe a tsunami could come in as well, or maybe they go underground? I don't
Right.
know. There's yeah, there's talks, in the Shasta area of a bunch of underground, caverns and things like that, even
Yeah.
beings being inside of the mountain. What's up, Tate? And I seen Alex's response there of Kip Morell's, and Kip worked with fire helicopters,
Right.
and he's awesome to have on the team. Super knowledgeable, and yeah, he was there for that overnight hike as well. But yeah, Kip knows a lot about fire stuff. And Alex was mentioning that he got a report from Kip, that new guy on one of the fire teams there. I don't know if he was a hot shot or what, Native
Mm.
American guy who talked about the monkey man. So yeah, there's some fire related stuff there.
Yeah. Definitely stuff to look at. I mean, all of that affects us. Who knows? We might have beachfront property in Arizona for real someday. Um
And we might be an
oh,
island again.
yeah. Um
we got our surfboards ready here. We're a skate shop, and yeah, we're selling surfboards now
we better
too.
have a little dinghy ready to blow up, and just in case
Right?
something
Oh
happens.
yeah, part of the pack
Um,
now.
yeah. But okay, so we talked about there was something else. So do you think that with all these fires that happen, because forest fires happen, it's part of nature, the natural ones, the ones started by lightning and stuff like that.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on how these disasters would impact Bigfoot population?
Yeah, it would
Uh,
be. I would imagine devastating because food sources would probably be affected.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, also your cover, your surroundings, your depending on whatever your dwelling may be. I mean, I guess if you're going underground, you don't have to worry about cover. But yeah, I would imagine that a lot of the flora is connected to them. As far as food source, maybe medicines, shelter cover. Um,
they
yeah,
essentially would have to start all over again wherever they end up in unknown areas, probably. I don't know. We don't know their range. We don't know how far they go in one day just to get a meal, or we don't know how far they go to find mates, to have their families, their little tribe, or whatever how you want to call their family unit. Um, So there's a lot, do they save their elders? Do they leave them and just get the heck out? Is everybody on their own? There's a lot of things we don't know because
I think
we,
I don't think I would think they would come for uh their loved ones, definitely, um because I would think they're they have a conscious. I recently seen footage, and I say this because I seen footage. I was saying I seen a lot of footage from these fires here, and there was one very impactful piece of video I seen. They showed these horses that were fleeing the fire, the Palisades fire,
uh-huh.
and this one horse turned around and went back to find his two other friends, or I don't know if they were mates or what, or they're young. Waited for those two horses, and then they all took off. And I was like,
Oh,
"Whoa!" He went back for the
yeah.
homies.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah. Animals are they definitely, there are some that, have that bond and have that realization of danger, you know.
Yeah,
Horses are one of those. You can be riding a horse and it knows something's up on that trail,
yeah. Well,
you
they say
know.
that's one of the possibly one of the better ways to have a Bigfoot encounter. You go back to Roger and Bob being
Yep,
on
right.
horses, right? And I've heard a lot of different encounters where people are on horses, whether it's the whatever, it's lifting your scent up off or whatever it may be. And I hear, yeah, horses are good alarm systems, like dogs. So
Mhm.
definitely something to the horses. And then I think I want to say I've seen a lot of footage where other animals are either helping or interacting with other animals, different
Yeah,
species of animals helping each other somehow. So there is that, you know, that compassion and stuff there, it's like they're almost like people sometimes.
yeah, yeah. Well, if they're anything, well, it's my feeling they are a primate. They are very similar to us, relic hominid, and they will have that, innate, what's the word I'm looking for is uh dang,
Like
just came in,
sentient
but
or
it's built in. It's part of their
Hmm.
their the way they okay, somebody out there help
it'll
me. You know what I'm
it'll
talking
come
about.
when that
Um
happens. I'm like, oh, downloading the file, and then I hear
yeah, it's
the old
natural that they
the
have
old
that in them.
AOL the old AOL audio.
Yeah, the brain's not working well. Um, but yeah, that we don't know, but we can try to assume that they would act a lot like us and want to save their themselves and the ones surrounding them. Hope,
Yeah. What?
otherwise we would be finding them. I think we would be finding them in all that disaster.
Yeah, that too.
You know,
Definitely. And
if they weren't smart, we would have already found them.
yeah, unless the old
Instinct. Thank you.
Smithsonian
Simple word,
comes.
and I couldn't
Oh,
think. It
okay.
was part of their instincts.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say unless
Um,
the old Smithsonian comes through right away to snatch everything up before anything, right? But
yeah.
yeah, another
Uh,
what was there was something else I wanted to touch on, as far as these beings and maybe having to do with situations like that. Oh yeah, there's these reports of what was it? It was just a few years back where this little boy had gone missing, and then they found him, and he was reporting that a bear had taken care of him, and it was just a very very strange case. I don't know. Do you remember that one, Nikki? People talk. It made
which
the
one?
rounds online. it was this little boy. I forget what state he was
Oh,
in,
oh,
and he went missing. And then when
what
they
was his
found
name?
him,
I did that
yeah,
story. I don't
yeah.
remember his name.
So if a lot of us believe that it wasn't a bear, and if it
Right.
wasn't a bear, then of course the Bigfoot comes up, and if that's the case, and I've heard several other stories very similar to this case here. If that's the case, and it helped that boy out, then that shows once again that conscious care, in this situation, caring, because there is a lot of reports also that I've heard in history and in the past of these beings taking people. So I do believe that it's possible they do both. They do take people, and maybe they do help people out in certain situations where they when they need
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay, so let's do a little speculation here. Do you think that Bigfoot would approach humans for help during a disaster? If, you know, say, okay, we just heard of the story that was left up here from Kip about the hotshot guy running into a monkey man or whatever. And what if they do come and approach you for help? You know, are they too elusive to do that
I would imagine yes. I think they'd rather just deal with whatever they're dealing with
on
on
their
their
own?
own, because they haven't came to us for anything else. Yeah, there you might hear some wild stories of maybe some what is it? What do you call it? Habituation situations, which I always
Yeah,
question. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't think they come to us for anything. So
They don't come to
uh
the back door asking for garlic or anything like
or
that.
sugar. Um At least not the ones I've heard about. But yeah, I think yeah, they don't need us. They don't need us. And so it's funny when people say like, "Oh yeah, we should put laws out there to protect them," and all like they don't need any of our interference. That's how I feel at the moment. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think they're just very independent, and yeah, wouldn't go for that
yeah.
unless it would be a situation where, like, yeah, maybe someone is habituating them, and they
Uh-huh.
really do have a solid relationship. I think in a situation like that, then maybe something would happen like that.
Right. Um and I see you, Brent. So
Oh,
earlier you
Brett in the
talked about
house. Salute.
bear. You talked about the guy, the boy who was with the bear that miraculously was saved, and because he was with bear. Well, they say what bear was a neighbor that they used to call him Bear, and
Oh,
it was
all
a
right.
neighbor, and he, if I'm correct in remembering, he was uh mentally disabled. I don't remember the whole case with the bear guy. So he wasn't
Wow.
really all there. And but Brent's saying that he has a screenshot of the aunt saying that the man took the little boy.
Got it. Yeah, you
And
see, and that's why I love tapping in with
yeah,
you guys, because you guys do some digging and find things that
yeah,
I don't hear about, or you don't hear other people talking about, and it's important stuff. So that
yeah.
that's some key information there to know about that.
Um
And I'm hoping here soon one day to get a tour of Bumping Lake with old Brent there and Tristan.
uh
I like the name of that lake. It just because out here bumping, you picture people with the ghetto blaster, or like in their
Bumpin' Lake.
car
Yeah.
bumping music. So bumping lake, maybe it's bumping with squatches up there, I would think.
I don't know. Is Brent, are you going back to Bumpin' Lake this year? Probably.
And
I
which
don't know.
brings
I
me,
seemed like there was a lot of people at the last event up there at Pumpkin Lake. I think that's kind of
mm,
a killer when you have too many people,
right? It could.
hanging
I
around.
get you. Um, and then, well, we're touching on Washington here. Did you touch on the two guys that were out bigfooting and passed away over at they said inside a Gifford Pinchot?
Oh yeah, the two guys that
Yeah,
succumbed to the weather. They were
yeah. So I'd
ill
like to know.
prepared.
I wish. Yeah, I'd love to hear the details about that. Very unfortunate, and condolences to their families.
Right.
Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Christmas at Christmas.
yeah. So in that situation, they didn't get any help from anything there. I don't think, or I don't think anything. They said no foul play, so I don't think anything other than like reported succumbing to the weather
Mm-hmm.
happened. But I do believe that area, there's a lot going on. I've heard a lot of missing persons cases, strange ones out of Gifford Pinchot, and just obviously all the Bigfoot stuff out of there is just I'd love to go check it out. But yeah, so I don't know. One would think like if these guys were out there and stuck in a bad situation, and if these things were kind enough to help, a human in need,
Yeah.
that they would do something. And yeah, it doesn't sound like anything like that happened there. Oh, headed back up there. Tristan and I are headed up to. Oh yeah, here everyone's headed to Squatch Fest. Super,
Mm-hmm.
super cool. I wish I could make that. Who knows if things work out, might make an appearance there. But no, some people were like, "Hey, you should head up to Squatch Fest." And here comes the darn ice cream man again. We missed the corn guy. Did you
Oh
guys hear the corn guy? We get the elotero.
yeah.
Elotes is
Yeah.
corn in Spanish, and Nikki knows. They come around with their little cart and hook up corn, and
Yeah.
and they squeeze this little horn they got. It's kind of annoying, but now
Yeah.
we got the ice cream man again.
Yeah. We have those two. Mostly the cart guys are downtown in that area. Not too many in this area here, but uh what else were we gonna talk? We were gonna say talk about
And when I've been going live at the house, I get this train that goes by. It's super
oh
hilarious.
um let's see. I had a bunch of there have been reports of Bigfoot activity increasing after disasters. So would make what would you make of those accounts? Like it makes sense to me because when we had a fire up in Flagstaff up on the mountain, we were seeing that evidence because all the animals came down into town. There were bear sightings, there were mountain lion sightings. We always have had the elk in town, so that was kind of normal. But it was rare to have the mountain lions coming down, into trashes and stuff like that. So it makes sense to me that if we have these disasters, that you're going to start seeing have a increase in sightings around those perimeter areas.
Oh yeah,
So we have to
I
wait and
would, I,
see.
I would think so. Because obviously, if you're seeing the wildlife, the normal wildlife, then I would imagine anything else that would be up there would be coming
Right.
along with that. And which brings me to actually a situation that I had here recently. So being in LA, I'm like, man, missing up north and everything. And yeah, I'm like, well, I got mountains here, and I actually been out with someone out here before who was investigating this area quite a bit and found some interesting stuff, more along like structure type stuff,
Mhm.
which is very similar to what I was finding up north and what other folks have found in different places. So I was like, oh yeah, there maybe is something going on up here. Um, but that was years back, and now that I'm back here again, I was like, well, let me get back up in the mountains because I just love being in the mountains.
Mhm.
And yeah, the mountains are not far at all. They're just like 15, 20 minutes away from the house, and we forget about that. You usually get stuck in the vortex of the city, the concrete jungle. And yeah, so I try to get out there as much as possible, and also look into reports. Anywhere I go, I always look for any reports that I can find. And like I mentioned, there's some reports out of here, Southern California, and up in these mountains as well.
Yeah.
And so there was one that I found from 1995 out of a particular campground here. And yeah, 95, it's been a while. uh and I just, I was like, let's get up there just to check it out, at least look at the area and see what happens, spend the night. And so I got my brother and my two younger nephews, and we headed up there, and had an interesting night up there. And I let my nephews use some of my gear, thermals and stuff. One of my
Uh-huh.
nephews actually got an interesting thermal hit, and we didn't notice till we got back to the city. And so we did a follow up. There's this looks like a person right at the base of a tree, and it moves, and it seems to duck right at the base of this tree here. And I we he mentioned to us, we didn't see it happening, but he was seeing it through the thermal, but thought maybe it was just an animal of some sort. But he was telling us he was getting a hit. And so we didn't look at anything
Uh-huh.
further. We're just like, all right, he's maybe capturing something. And sure enough, there was something there. And so we did the follow up, didn't find the exact area, but yeah, it just made me think there's something going on in this particular spot here. And I actually sent you, Brent, and Jeff, an email with a clip of this.
You
And
did?
yeah, Jonathan, yeah, I believe. And I didn't hear back from anyone, so I was like a little bit hurt. I was like, what, they didn't
I
like
don't
they didn't like
remember
my footage.
seeing it.
Yeah,
I'll
I
have
at
to go
least
back
wanted
and look.
a comment back saying it looks like a person, whatever. But yeah, Jonathan,
Yeah.
he was like, dude, is it someone cowboy camping or something, And I was like, nah, I don't think anyone was camping. There was people at the campgrounds, but just a couple people, and in that spot there wasn't anyone there. And yeah, we have, homeless in the city. I don't think they'd be that far up the mountain. But it is possible, anything's possible. So yeah, very strange. And but yeah, now we got these fires. So the Eaton fire is right at the base, the foothills of where
Oh.
this thermal footage was. So the thermal footage was taken further back into those mountains there.
Uh-huh.
So now I wonder, if it was something, how this fire here now would be affecting any of that activity, if there is anything going on.
So what direction would they be heading? Then they're all heading east, right? There's nowhere for them to go west. So they're
No.
heading further east towards
East
what?
or
Towards
north, because I think, according to Eli, he did a thing on one of his documentaries where there's a theory. They believe a lot of them are coming down from the Sierra Mountains, and then there's this little town there of Gorman, California. I mean, it's just a small town of, few facilities, and that also recently burned, some of that area there. um that they're going across the highway there. I've heard that from several other people. And so when Eli did a thing on that particular area there, and then talked about that theory of them coming down, I was like, oh man, maybe there is something. And not far from there, that from that Gorman area, is where Tate had gotten his thermal situation happened up in
uh-huh.
the Los Padres
Oh, okay.
chain of mountains, Los Padres National Forest there, the Sespe Wilderness.
Uh-huh.
And so as the crow flies from where I got my thermal to where Tate got his, it's not far. But driving, yeah, maybe a little, maybe an hour or so, like that. But it's still,
Uh-huh.
those it's two separate mountain ranges, but they're near each other. The ends of those
Yeah.
ranges do, I don't want to say meet, but you could connect to those ranges. And I think if you go across that five freeway there. So something going on in that Gorman area, and I've been hearing a lot more about it. I actually also, Jeremiah over at Bigfoot Society, had a lady call in, and she had this whole thing from Gorman. and she used to live in a ranch in Gorman and was getting sighted. I was blown away when I heard this because I was just like, I had just passed through the area. The topic, Gorman topic, was on the mind, and then here I find this lady on Jeremiah show talking about her experiences in the Gorman area.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So just a little.
What's the elevation there in Gorman?
Gorman, I think that's. I don't know. I would imagine it's pretty like level there. I would say sea level, but the
Uh-huh.
mountains there is where you go up in elevation. But actually, um, yeah, once you get past Gorman, then eventually further up is the Grapevine. So that there's some elevation there.
Huh.
So I'm sure there's I don't know. It drops. It varies. It goes up and down, but
Check it out real quick. Oh,
yeah.
you're at 4,100, 4,144 elevation there in Gorman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you see, it's pretty high up. That's
So that's
higher than
higher than
that's
I
higher
thought it
than the
was.
hills than some of the hills in Humboldt. And in Humboldt, it feels like you're on a mountain. So that I trip out on that.
I want to see. So you have, okay, Gorman is surrounded by the Sierra Pelona, the San Emilio mountain range,
Okay.
and the Tehachapi mountains.
Tehachapi. Yep.
Tehachapi. Sorry,
hmm
Tehachapi.
And online, of course, you could find reports from all those areas, but who knows how legit those reports are. But I always find it interesting to hear the SoCal reports. A lot of reports also that you'll find online, like on BFRO and different databases.
Yeah.
A lot of activity towards the deserts during the 70s as well. There's also a lot of talk of further down, the Borrego Sandman. You ever heard of that one?
No, I
It's
have not.
yeah, it's the Borrego Sandman, and what is it? Anza Borrego. It's an area out in the deserts there, and there's that Bigfoot, and then there's another one. Oh, the Yucca Man,
I've heard of the
Yucca.
Yucca Man. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got the Yucca Man also, which is another desert Bigfoot. And it could be that they're just passing through, or who knows? Maybe they're just uh, checking out the desert for some reason. But yeah, there's
Huh.
these desert reports also. So, and you can't imagine being a Sasquatch and being in a hot desert, but these deserts do get cold. But yeah, who knows? Summertime, I wonder what they do because it gets hot.
Huh. Borrego Sandman. So there's a video of that, right?
There's a
There's
picture. I don't
some
know.
kind of footage
Wildman.
of it.
Yes, so Sovereign Cosmic Wildman had mentioned the other night that there was he commented on one of those cases saying, but I know there's a picture and it's a weird picture, it's total blob squatchy, so maybe it's in
Yeah.
transition from dimensions or something, but I think that one was near 29 Palms, and there's yeah, you got the bases out there. There's always those reports near military bases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is that connection. Yeah, and then for them to be out here, I think it's totally possible. Although you have little patchy forested areas, most of it's like low brush and scrub. You still could hide in that. There's food, food and water sources still out here.
Uh-huh.
So, but not like back in the day. Back in the day, I hear there was a lot more. Obviously, and the population wasn't the same either, but there was a lot more water sources and not so much development. Uh, uh, you know, in these areas. But now that there is people in these areas, you would think that there'd be a lot more reports, which seems to be happening if these Bigfoots are around.
Yeah. Thanks, Sovereign Cosmic. They're gonna find the clip and post it in his community page, and he'll tag you, so we can go check that
Cool.
out. Um, all right, let me check these. Any questions that I've missed?
And you do a
Let's
great job of
see.
hosting also, Nikki. I've been finding out for myself it's kind of hard to keep up with like chat and the questions, and
You
then
gotta keep up with everything, yeah.
yeah, keeping your frame of thought, pulling up share screen sharing, and or pulling up videos and all. It's like
I
it
usually
reminds.
have slides that I'm also doing, but like I said today, I thought it was Saturday. I didn't think it was Sunday, so I didn't do
Hey,
my normal slides that I would have up there. But
and
that's
usually I
okay.
like to
Oh,
show videos. Yeah, I like to show my personal videos,
yeah.
just to show whatever it may be. But yeah, no, it's all good, and I'm glad this worked out. It's been flowing good as well.
Yeah, we've been
Doing
trying to get together, guys, for like 3 or 4 weeks already. It's just my schedule's kind of all over the place, and then
and
he's not
for
on
me,
Messenger, so it wasn't I had to get
yeah,
Tate to connect with him, and then I found you on Facebook. I did send you a message on Messenger,
I've
but he
seen that, and
but
I'm not active. I'm not active there at all, but I do
yeah.
get like the messages. So, but yeah, so don't worry if I don't respond there. Um,
Well, now we're hooked.
yeah,
We
but
have our phone numbers now, so now
yeah, perfect.
we
And
can communicate now.
anytime, send me messages, whatever pictures, videos of whatever you need me to check out.
Yeah.
I'm totally into that. And I remember there was an old video you had asked about, a Bigfoot video that I had shared over on TikTok, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
And I do know where I had gotten that video, and it was I had remixed Bigfoot Tony's video, and then
Uh
so I think it might have came from there. But I'll get you the source. You had asked about that video because you found it interesting, and it was out of like Russia, I believe it was. It was in the
uh-huh.
snow, and you were like, "Hey, that's really interesting there. Let me know if." And I never got back to you about it, but I'll
Well,
dig around and I'll get that for you so you could break that down.
awesome. Yeah. There's been some crazy stuff on Facebook lately. I don't know if you guys seen
Mm.
the toe thing. I'm sure that's been going around lately.
Oh,
Um People
I'm not
saying that
on
they
yeah Facebook.
got this big old Bigfoot toe or something, and
Uh
yeah, you can buy that toe on Amazon. So
oh.
I I was going to see if I can. Where did I
Are
put it?
pe-
I've
people
saved a bunch of stuff. I think I saved it on my own
are
messenger
people
here.
putting up the popcorn emojis? The special YouTube one. There's that popcorn one for that toe.
Let me see. Um, what would Squatch do? Oh my god, I got so much junk here. I guess
Yes,
I didn't save it.
I messaged, so I got a source sent me a message and told me to check in with someone because this someone had something happen that I was mentioning earlier, and so I got permission from the main person
Uh
to
huh.
get a hold of Alex and hit him up so they could talk because they know each other, and so hopefully soon here someone will be able to bring out this little bit of news from our area. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And
Ooh,
if I could share that
mysterious.
out, yeah. There's another one also I'm working on. I got sent a little video and audio clip from our area as well up there up north. And it's super interesting from an interesting person as well. And I've been trying to do just my little breakdown of it, whatever I could do with it, either boost up audio
Yeah.
or loop certain little sounds. And I do my
Uh
best
huh.
that I could with what I got, and I I'll do stuff like that onto my own videos. And yeah, I'm totally interested in anyone else's stuff too. If you got something cool to check out, but hopefully soon I'll get the permission to post that one, and it's super interesting. It's some interesting audio and some interesting timestamps to go along with that. So
Cool. So we'll look forward to looking at that for sure.
yeah.
Um, any questions out there before we start to bring this show to a close a little bit early? But
And
whatever
Nikki, we
my
got to do
kids
this.
are cooking in the other room is smelling awesome. So,
Oh, nice. The kids are. Hey, you got a break.
well, yeah, I was gonna cook some chicken stir fry for them, and
All right.
then the whole thing with me forgetting it was Sunday.
Uh
So
huh.
she had my senior in high school brought. She's got friends in there. I'm sure you guys are hearing them laugh, but they decided to cook. So
Right
I don't
on.
know. I think it's spaghetti.
Cool.
I don't know, but I think they made spaghetti because I smell garlic and I smell something
Yum.
else.
Lucky you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta figure.
so
I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner here. um.
yeah. Ask
Yeah. So
Glenn
I.
if anyone sent him a link to haunted forest audio clips I made.
Oh yes, I got it. Yeah. Thank you, Tate, and thank you, Tristan. Also. So yeah, I've been going. I've been showing some of my videos during the
Oops, wrong one.
lives, and we did a
There.
haunted forest here in, it's actually in Altadena. That's why I was showing it. I was actually showing
Ah,
some of my footage from these areas where the Eaton fire started. I did a hike with my sister up Eaton Canyon, and
uh-huh.
then I've been visiting that haunted forest in Altadena, and that's an old property there that I guess it's called the Cobb Estate. And Cobb, I don't know much about him, but back in the day, he owned the land, and there's a dark history there with some unalivings and uh, other stuff going on, fires. Um, and then I believe it was the Wright brothers then became the owners of the land there. And then it got moved after that. It was the Pasadena Scottish Rite Freemasons, that
Oh.
became owners of that property. And then after them, the who was it? The Marx Brothers. Did I say the Marx Brothers at first? The other one were the Wright brothers, and then the Marx Brothers,
Oh, wow.
yeah, became owners,
Dang.
and were trying to do something with it, and it became this like paranormal spot. Who knows what they were doing there? But it was a mansion, no longer there, and now I've always had heard about it as a youth, and always wanted to go. So now that I'm out here, I've been going there, and come to find out, there's I think it was on Bobby Short's website. There was a report out of Pasadena. It says Pasadena, but it's Pasadena, Altadena. A Bigfoot report from the Cobb Estate haunted forest there.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah, yeah, interesting stuff. There's also
So
the
is all
witch.
that gone now? Is
I
that
have no idea, Nikki. I have no idea. No,
oh.
no idea. So it's fingers crossed. Yeah, very unfortunate. Yeah, there's also some other tales from that area. The witch of Cobb Mountain. There's this witch, I forget her name, that supposedly haunts the grounds there. My sister has had orbs chase her and her friends out of there. So yeah, there's some stuff definitely going on. And I went one particular night and was doing some recording. For me, it was an orb in the sky, strange orb flying by, and got some strange audio. That place is known for audio sounds, screams, and stuff like that as well. And I heard some audio go off, but right after that, there was a group of young people coming up my way too. But I asked them on video if it was them that did that sound, and the sound actually came from a ridge above me. So it was interesting. And Tristan caught the live and actually heard some other stuff. So he did a little breakdown for me, sent it to Tate, and yeah, I did receive that, and I'll be checking that out. So thank you, Tristan. And yeah, so fingers crossed. Hopefully that area didn't get affected, but I do think so because that's right in the zone there.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of crazy. So
Hmm.
close to all these people and we've got sighting history. So I guess you never know. We'll have to
Yeah,
see.
there's
We'll
another
have to
one I could
see.
tell you. I could tell you from that area, and I don't know if there's a video to it. It made the news, and it was this guy. I think he was a young tow truck driver, and stopped on the side of the highway 210 freeway, which is like the base area of these mountains. And he recorded off the side of the freeway in these trees what looked like a small primate a small monkey darting through the trees. But Jonathan Easley believes that it's most likely a leaf, which is very possible. But yeah, of course, it's blurry and hard to tell.
Yeah.
And but if it is, what we would hope it would be, then that's just more sign of activity there. So something to think about, something to check out. And I'll send you that newsreel so you could check that out, and
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
I'll share that in my page also. I've remixed that before just because it was some local stuff here. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
keeping an eye out for local stuff. And if anyone out there's listening and got some encounters from out this way, yeah, let me know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully I can get out there and really meet you. And
Yeah,
that'll be a lot
anytime.
of fun. I'm really gonna, like you said, I'm gonna try to make that happen.
Yeah, no,
And
no, we're not gonna try. We're
oh,
we're making it happen.
we're
But
making it
whatever.
happen.
If other things happen, then they happen and they come up. But whatever. But we're making
We're
it. We're
making
not
it
trying.
happen.
We're
Yeah,
making
that's
it.
what I did
Boom.
with British Columbia. I was making it up. It was
Hey, and
happening.
that
I
was
did it.
amazing. That was amazing, Nikki. That blew me away. And props to you for getting out there. I see that you're getting out a lot more, and that's what it's about. It's those moments of being out there, and then a lot of
Yeah.
the friendships you make, and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
awesome
For
stuff.
real.
And yeah, things
Well,
could go south, but no, I think more good times than bad, and I love doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it, and yeah, I feel that we're gonna meet in the flesh here soon.
right. You just have to make yourself available, right? I'm not so sure we're gonna be able to go out there and find these, but they're gonna find us out there. I think we just have to be there
Yep,
and they will come find us. Um,
law of attraction,
because
baby. Be careful.
yeah, yeah. We shall see. We shall see. Well, it has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming
Awesome.
on. And
Yeah,
you
thank
have
you,
to do it
Nikki. And
again when we have a big
yes, more
panel.
more often, definitely. I'd love to jump up with the guys also, have them press me on any questions on anything I've claimed or posted.
Yeah,
I'm all game. And
good.
also, I want to say, yeah, let's do this more often since I'm doing it now. We could do this a lot more, Nikki. And thank you
That's
again for
cool.
the
Yeah.
invite. Yeah, blessings and love to everyone out there. Stay
Yep.
safe, stay
For
aware, and
sure.
stay.
Everybody, don't forget, hit that like button before you
Oh yeah,
leave.
squash the light.
Please share it if you liked it. You too. Post it on, I'll allow you to post it on your page.
Yeah, however,
So
yeah, let's do
um
that. Yeah, I'll be
let's
sharing yours.
do this, and thank you everybody for coming and joining the show.
Yeah,
I love y'all all.
stay
So
dangerous like Chuck Norris.
it's dangerous like Chuck Norris. Some kind of dangerous. Hey, love you guys, and we'll see you in the next chat.